beep, beep boop. Bow. Aloha, ladies and gents. This is Ghostie speaking, and I have been feeling under the weather recently, but actually like sick, not literally under the sun and touching grass and all, because why would I do that? But because of that, I have been slacking, and in the process, this came out, and I wanted to jump right in, so here we go. You're watching the same thing as me. It is indeed, no lie, no rumor, myth busted, it is the Batman Arkham Shadow gameplay. And you're seeing it too. Holy shit. It is balls to the walls, batshit crazy, and kinda impressive. Most, if not all of it, looks pretty well made. I don't want to be the one to judge a book by its cover, or an entire game by its trailer. But it looks like we're getting a pretty hearty meal. The graphics look good, even down to the smaller scale stuff. The sound design is of high quality, and I'm sure it'll be even better with the actual headset. The gameplay, of course, it's fluid, it's smooth, and honestly, this is, dare I say, the prime example of what a Batman VR game should be. So it seems like they really hit the mark, at least from what we've seen. I also don't have much experience or expertise in VR, so if this is shit, please enlighten me. If it is shit, tell me it is shit. I don't know. No matter which way you go though, it does seem like we're gonna get something new, refreshing, something that we haven't seen before. I mean, hell, look at it. Definitely something new. Watching this trailer also gave me somewhat of a nostalgic feeling, but not because it's Arkham, but more of a youthful feeling of the good times. Watching that gameplay, seeing that POV, it reminded me of them cold, lonesome nights on Halloween, when you could don the cape and cowl yourself, and you could become the knight. You could be vengeance, and you could be the Batman. Or at least just wear the costume in style. Guaranteed I was like 5, 6 years old, but still, it was an awesome feeling, and here it is again. This is still pretty surreal to see though. Not only being able to be Batman, but seeing him move like this, and being able to fight like this, glide, as well as having his gadgets at your disposal, as well as being able to like go in and out of detective mode. It seems like it could be the best Batman experience. Just saying. At least hands-on. This is probably what we all thought the gameplay for the original Batman Arkham VR was going to be. And then when it wasn't, we all thought it was impossible, but here we are. With all that though, plus the way everything is looking and feeling, I didn't think I would be saying this so soon, especially considering the last video I made on the game. With the way everything's shaping up to be, this could potentially, perhaps, just a maybe, be a possible worthy addition to the Arkham series. And hold on, don't get the pitchforks out just yet. I'm basing that only on what we've seen, and what we've seen, from this at least, is mostly gameplay. And honestly, we can't lie. I mean, hell, you're watching the same video as I am. The gameplay kicks ass. Especially for an Arkham game. But that being said, it is, again, VR. So it does have to primarily focus on that gameplay, and the story could shit the bed, but we'll have to wait and see. What I will say, flat out, WB Montreal, I need to apologize. I was not familiar with your game. But if it does make it any better, I can say this is a very pleasant surprise. But I do want to retrace my steps a bit and go back to what I mentioned, the story. There is a, however big chance it could shit the bed, but there's also an equally sized chance that it could not. I get it, I do. It's not their main priority, but once you get that elephant out of the room and the gameplay is done, the story is right after, if not before it, on that to-do list. So there has to be something. And thanks to this trailer now, added on with other teasers and thingamabobs, we can kinda piece it together. Fingers crossed it's coherent. Either way, I'ma try. So going over what we know, and if you don't know, well, now you know, but the game takes place in between Origins and Asylum, and we're gonna experience firsthand, out of our own eyeballs, more of the early years of Arkham Batman, voiced by none other than Roger Craig Smith. And, well, mwah, bravo, as per usual. But it takes place in the week or so leading up to the 4th of July, and, to no surprise to anyone at all, Gotham City gets attacked by a supervillain. Ooh. But who is this infamous supervillain, you might ask? who is now on Gotham's Most Wanted? Oh, I'll tell you. It is the Ratcatcher. Oh, no. The Rat King. A brand new, all original character created by WB and Rocksteady Studios. Wait. Where have I heard that before? Doesn't matter. Either way, the Rat King and his cultist following are trying to make a new national holiday. And personally, if you ask me, it is kind of bold, kind of ballsy, especially considering the week. But, all of them devotees though, all of them thugs, all of them gooners out there, they're all talking about this Day of Wrath, which our beloved Batman is here to prevent. But if you want to join the movement and learn how to celebrate such a day, allow me to clue you in. The Cool Rodent Club has their eyes set on the public faces of the city. So, that's faces that make the news, names that make the headlines, maybe policemen, politicians. No matter who's on the list, their plan is to pretty much just round them all up like cattle and put them down like dogs. And that is the Day of Wrath. And saying it out loud does seem pretty horrible. But to them, it probably feels great. The Cool Rat Club, I mean. But with the way everything looks and seems, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that the people of the city that have felt harmed or forgotten about, those that have been lost and abandoned, the helpless, they now have the Rat King and his whole movement. So now maybe they have a place in the city where they could feel it themselves. They could be accepted, and now they're able to embrace that. In the trailer, some goober mentions how they repress their anger, they repress their fears, and it all feeds that shadow on the inside. And that caught my eye, or I should say ear, and I wouldn't necessarily say this is a revenge story, or maybe to some degree because of the people that they're targeting, or maybe they're just trying to make a statement. And with that, it could be a parallel to Batman. With where we're at in the game, he still is in his early years, so he is still learning lessons, he's still going through the trials and tribulations, especially with being Batman and this crusade. And the overall character of Batman, including our beloved Arkham version, is very flawed. He has his own shadow, he has his own darkness on the inside, and we see he even goes far enough to unleash it. And to him, he feels like himself. So maybe, maybe not, if you flip the coin, it could be the same thing on the other side. But if that does end up being the case, it may end up being an eye-opener for Brucey Boy. Either way, we'll see, and if I am right in any way, shape, or form, it could be the same for some other familiar faces too. I've talked about these lovable schmucks already, but it does fit. I could potentially see Harleen sitting down with the lost and the helpless, getting into their minds, but it isn't Joker, so As for Crane though, I could definitely see him take advantage of the situation, and maybe experiment with his toxin among the shit show going on. In fact, I think that's what this picture is showing us exactly, like word for word, pixel for pixel, that's what's going on. But this shot got my eyes and ears instantly because first, well, what do you know? Harley talking to the lost and helpless. But also, is that Arnold Wesker? What? I don't know if I should be happy or upset. I've wanted to see the ventriloquist for so long now, especially in an Arkham game, and yet it'll be in a game where I can't and won't play, and it seems more of like an origin story than actually a fully fleshed character just yet. Or maybe we'll see that, I don't know. Either way, I'm excited to watch YouTube playthroughs and finally see Scarface. But actual Scarface, not on the Joker, not being used as evidence, but actual Scarface with Arnold. And actually, it's funny that they're here because if my educated guess slash like predicted synopsis of the story is right, like if the Rat King and his devotees really are shining a light on rock bottom and are guiding the lost people of Gotham, Arnold Wesker would definitely be one of them. Or at least I assume so. Because in that scenario, it would allow him to come to terms with himself and accept it. And then he can go on and embrace that side of him. And embrace, well, Scarface. Regardless of if it's good or bad. And obviously, I don't know if that is the case or not, but I just wanted to throw that out there, just in case. It also seems like we'll be returning to the dance floor to do the tango with Tiger yet again, which I think is pretty neat. It definitely connects the Montreal and Rocksteady games more, you know, pre-Asylum versus Asylum and after. But more specifically is the security guard, which is apparently Lyle Bolton, aka Lockup. which is real interesting, and it's almost as if he fits into this game perfectly. I am always up for more villains and more evil, and especially new and debuting villains in the Arkham games. And now we have Lockup, and I guess the real Scarface this time, as well as the Rat King. So, man, we are really getting treated. Anyways, if you don't know who Lockup is, he is a former security guard slash officer that would go to extreme measures and pretty much torture his prisoners and those that are, well, locked up. Anyone in Arkham or behind bars that are under his protection, per se, it was pretty much quite the opposite. So with all these villains coming out of the woodworks, as well as this citywide religious praise for the Rat King, for obvious reasons, it's not going to mix. And then we have all these public officials, politicians, and doctors and all that have targets on their heads and could potentially be the cause, but also are all involved in the same system that reign over a city full of crime and never stops. And then here we are, the player, the only one that is doing anything about it, Batman, with his own sense of justice and morals, and obviously his own methods, that don't see eye to eye with Bolton. Even in the trailer you could hear him talk about how Batman could have been a god, or how he is everything wrong with the city. It's a big old bloody battle of beliefs and vigilantism, which I think creates a real fascinating dynamic, something that we haven't gotten too much of in the Arkhamverse. And I do have to admit, it is kind of ironic seeing how, in a game where people in power are being targeted, Lyle Bolton is debuting and he's now abusing his own. Ooh, wait a minute. Maybe he's doing this now because the Rat King situation makes him feel like he can. And now he's embracing his true nature because of the Rat King. But for him, it's indirectly. Oh, it all scurries back to that damn Rat King. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh, it's all because of the Rat King. It's all because of the Rat King. Holy shit. But actually, it is a pretty clever character choice, but it all boils down to how they use him and how it's all done and the overall story. So we'll have to wait and see. Patiently or impatiently. Your choice. And I can't lie, I know we're getting a ton of villains in this, and a lot of origin stories, or at least villains in their early stages. I always like them to be to themselves. How stupidly funny would it be if all of Gotham's notorious villains became villains because of the ratcatcher? All because of him. Scarecrow, Harley Quinn, the ventriloquist, Lockup, Two-Face. Imagine a bunch of rats just scurried around a glass of acid and just poured it on Dent while he's sleeping. Boom, Two-Face. Anyways, I think I've said my piece and all that I wanted to say, I think. So, if you like this, or Arkham Shadow, or anything Batman, there will be more, so leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe, please and thank you. Press that little bell baby while you're doing so, if you don't mind. And, I don't know, join me next time. Thanks for watching. This is Ghostie, and yeah, I will see you soon. Maybe, hopefully, maybe. Bye-bye.